Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are enjoying your day. This video is going to be something different that has been really highly requested. Most of you have probably seen my other hero guides on other characters, and judging from the feedback, the tips in those videos have really been helping you guys out. So today is going to be another hero guide, and this time it is going to be for Darth Vader. A ton of you guys have been asking for a Vader video guide, so this one is going to break down the best star cards for Galactic Assault and heroes vs villains, as well as giving you guys a few extra tips along the way. Now before I jump into it, I want to ask a favor of all of you guys, and that's to turn on the post notifications. YouTube seems to be having issues with getting videos out into sub feeds for people, so having post notifications on will help you with being alerted. Even with this though, it isn't 100% effective, so if you aren't seeing my videos in your feed, then definitely follow me on Twitter as well, as I will be posting most of my videos there too. This will be very much appreciated and will definitely help keep you guys up to date with all of my latest videos. Anyways, let's get into it. Vader being a Sith Lord and one of the most iconic characters in Star Wars, you know they had to make him an absolute beast in this game. For new players, his abilities are Lightsaber Throw, which does exactly what it says, Force Choke, which also does exactly what it says, and Focused Rage, which gives Vader some bonus health and also boosts his damage output and defense as well. So he's pretty versatile in terms of abilities, but the big thing that stands out is that he has more base health than any other hero in the game. This, combined with his defensive power and abilities, makes him extremely tanky and an absolute powerhouse. Now I'm going to start off with the best star cards for Galactic Assault. For this mode, the rounds are really long, and if you're looking to go for high kill streaks, this is usually the place to do it. The first card you want to have equipped is the Dark Lord star card. Simply put, every time Vader kills a regular trooper, he regains 20 health. And for every hero he defeats, he can regain up to 100 health if you have the card maxed out at epic level. This is the card that will either make or break your kill streak with Vader. You could be down under 100 health, but if you manage to defeat a few enemies without taking much damage, then you could very well keep that streak alive. The second star card you should be using is the bonus health card. This is going to give him 150 bonus health and will put his total at 950 without even using the Focused Rage ability. If you do use that, however, it will go over 1000, which is going to be extremely useful. Having this much health again will give you the potential for big kill streaks and the ability to take a fair few hits before you get into any trouble. Along with the Dark Lord star card, this setup makes you the ultimate defensive tank, and his abilities and lightsaber damage is more than enough for offensive capability. The third card is really personal preference and depends on your playstyle. The choke upgrades and lightsaber throw upgrades, I really don't see a use for them in Galactic Assault, and are probably better suited to heroes vs villains. In Galactic Assault, I tend to use the Furious Resilience star card, which pretty much gives you a defensive boost of up to 25% when Focus Rage is up at the epic level. So again, it's just another card to boost his defense and keep him alive longer. Like I said before, his abilities and lightsaber swings do more than enough damage on their own, so this star card lineup is purely about boosting his defense and health regen for high kill streaks. In GA, Vader can be really effective on most maps because of how powerful he is. I've had really good kill streaks with him on most of the maps in the game, so that's not really too much of a worry. Feel free to pick him whenever you get the chance because he's going to dominate if you use these tips. I personally love using him on the Death Star too because the narrow corridors and crowded spawn points make it really fun for destroying groups of enemies that run through the doors. If you are using him on Kamino, one tip though that I would give is to consider equipping the star card called There Is No Escape. This increases lightsaber throw distance by 50% when maxed out and will work wonders in the final phase of Kamino when you're in that narrow but really long hallway. You're pretty much just going to be sniping enemies down that hallway because sometimes the regular lightsaber throw will not reach that far. It'll definitely help clear out the room as well without having to charge in there and get yourself killed. Moving on, I just want to give you guys a couple of extra tips for GA. First off is to use the Focused Rage before charging into a fight. This not only lets you take less damage, but you can also take more hits before the health regeneration threshold comes into play. So basically, that's the max amount of health you can regenerate without actually taking extra damage. So the lower your health is going to get, the less you can regenerate as well. Pretty much the only way to counter this is with that star card, the Dark Lord, like I was talking about before. That's going to help you get above that regen, but if you can avoid doing it in the first place, then that's a bonus as well. Another tip you might want to try is to throw the lightsaber, and before it starts to come back, dodge to the side. By doing this, you can avoid a few shots from your opponents, and the lightsaber has a good chance of hitting the enemy again on the way back to your hand. Finally, like I say with all lightsaber heroes, is to turn off your lightsaber when you aren't in battle with someone. Occasionally the glow of the lightsaber will give away your position, and that's definitely not something you want to happen, especially if you're playing the night variants of certain maps. If you don't deactivate it, you might just find yourself pelted in the back by one of those pesky vanguards, so it's definitely worth switching it off when you're not using it. Moving into HVV, one card I will always use is the bonus health card like I mentioned before. Just having that extra 150 health can make a really big difference when taking on multiple heroes at once. Now with HVV, you can use the Dark Lord card if you want to and feel like you need that health regen, but personally I tend to take it off for heroes versus villains. Some people like to leave it on, but I will replace it with the intensified lightsaber throw. This card is going to deal up to 40% bonus damage when it hits your opponent on the way back if it connects the second time. When going up against heroes, bonus damage can be a massive help, so this card will definitely assist you in getting bonus damage. Finally, for heroes versus villains, I use the Furious Resilience card again. Now, I know the lineup is quite similar to GA for the 3 cards, but that's because these really are Darth Vader's best cards. His other throw cards and choke cards are only effective in a few situations, so I don't think it's necessary to equip it for full rounds. The star cards that make Vader's choke last longer or do more damage really just leaves you vulnerable for a longer period of time, so I don't think they're really good cards in my opinion. I would stick with the ones I've said in this video if you're looking to dominate with Vader. As for a couple of tips for HVV, there is always going to be the generic stick by your teammate tips, and don't try to take on a full team by yourself, which is pretty much just common sense. But there are a few other things you can try as well. If taking on another lightsaber user, let them attack you first and block it. As they bounce back, catch them with a force choke and then throw your lightsaber at them. By that point, if those attacks connect, you should have a decent health advantage going one-on-one, and the fight will become much easier. Another one which most of you have probably figured out is to try picking up enemies with the choke and dropping them into holes or off edges on the maps, like Hoth, Naboo, and Kashyyyk. This is probably the fastest way to take out an enemy by yourself, and is also a massive troll to anyone you're going up against. Be warned, you may get some hate mail in your inbox. A few more things to be aware of is that Vader's force choke animation can occasionally get stuck, and even though it's constantly being worked on to be fixed, I still try to minimize the usage of it due to the fact you become extremely vulnerable when it is used. If you don't catch all the enemies in front of you in the choke, there are definitely going to be a few of them firing off at your head because you can't move at all when using that force choke. It's very minimal movement in that animation, so you're extremely vulnerable, so try to avoid using it as much as possible. So guys, this has been what I think are the best star cards and most useful tips for becoming an absolute beast with Darth Vader. If you guys have any questions or even any other tips that I may have missed, be sure to drop them in the comments section below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button as it is a huge help to the channel, and make sure to subscribe with post notifications turned on for future videos. On top of all of this, let me know which hero you guys want to see next. I really appreciate all of you watching. I am the Twisted Jedi, and may the Force be with you always.
The Sith